Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Let me turn on this light over here. There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. It is great to see you this morning. I guess I should check my audio. Since that's okay, looks like we're working. All right. I hope everybody's having a good morning. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office, and welcome to the morning grind. I'm gonna delete. I was trying to connect to Facebook streaming, and I just was unable to do that. Let's see. So there we go. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's see. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Let's see. Charlie, who else is here? Bacon is here. PH is here. So we had a great time last night. So there's a lot of streaming going on, and there's a lot of stuff that's been happening. I woke up this morning, and I spent about 3 hours working to clip last night's arcane conversation. I put out a bunch of clips from our discussion last week, and those seem to have gotten, I mean, for Table Talk, a fair amount of interest. And so there was a lot of great stuff that was said last night on the Table Talk channel. Let's see. So there it is right there. Act 2, season 2, Act 3 of Arcane right there. It was a great conversation. We had, I think at one point, like 35 people watching. So I don't know, maybe that is some growth. We'll see. We had new people on the channel last night. It was great. So, and I thought there were important things to clip from that. So I got it clipped. They're not exactly ready to export, but they're about ready to export. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to go, and I'm not going to be able to stay for a long time this morning because I've got to go. I've got to do things today, which is outside of the house today on Wednesday, because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So I really wanted to be able to get at least one of those out, and I got to send out an email about tonight's stream. But I do want to make sure that I do get some of the to get this out as soon as possible, especially some of the stuff that's really relevant about Arcane. Some of the things that Doug was talking about, like destabilizing story elements. Okay, that could wait till next week. But there's a lot that in there that needs to get out, I think. Let's see. Okay, so that, and then tonight, so that if you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. And then tonight, we are going to get started at 7:00 tonight. I've got to leave here this morning. I've got to be gone all day. I'm coming back in this evening at 7:00 tonight. Oh, there we go. Behind the scenes with Brianna on The Cultist episode 2. I'll put the link down here. That will just be a few minutes. That'll be at 7:00 tonight. The Cultists behind the scenes. Right there. And then right after that tonight, James Bacon and I will be live. Let's just go over here. So, 7:08, 7:09, something like that. The Cultist behind the scenes. And we'll be continuing. We're going to finish our discussion of his commentary on the rules and editing of the rules. The Cultist tonight. That is over on the Cultist channel. So make sure you're over there and click. So if you're looking for RPG design stuff, there'll be more RPG design stuff on the show on the Cultist channel tonight when we are talking about its role-playing game. I want to have some other people, still to have some other people on to do some watch parties for the Cultist, have some celebrities. I reached out to, or at least, other YouTubers. I reached out to someone last week, but I never heard back from them. But then when Bacon and I didn't finish our discussion of the rules, I was like, you know what, we should go ahead and get those edited so that they can be done. I do need a new headshot. I was thinking about that. So if you've got a new headshot, yes, because everybody loves your beard. So yes, do need that. And then actually, come to think of it, I saw that you messaged me, Bacon, on Discord, and I just have not gotten to write back yet. I was coming in yesterday, sat down, and I still had to think about some stuff. So we could do a Thanksgiving stream. I'm going to be doing over on Table Talk. I'm not sure what I'm doing for Thanksgiving. I may go just visit my parents, but they may not want me to come. I'm not sure. So I may be out. There might not be a it might not be a big Thanksgiving over there for me, and plus some of my family's getting together on a different day. So Bacon wanted to talk about Arcane, so there's more stuff to talk about regarding Arcane. So we might assemble a stream for Thanksgiving. So if you're lost on Thanksgiving Day, we could do that. And of course, if you really want to know about that, of course, that would be on the Table Talk channel. But that also, you'll know about that on the Raven Keep Discord. You also messaged me on Discord? Well, I will check to see if I have that. Okay. Well, all right. So that's what's going on. So, oh, I didn't send the link. Okay. All right. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Um, this morning I was editing, and I want to get those out. I also got access this morning, and I was while some things were running in the background. I got access to Morphic, this one of the many different AI video generation playgrounds, and I got to kind of look into it. Well, let me just bring this up. Morphic. Has anybody seen this one briefly? Because I've had some other ideas about things that I want to get on the Cultist channel. I did the You Can't Summon Cthulhu with Sour Cream and Onion video. But that took a long time. I keep trying. So I was like, okay, so next thing I need to do is really try to get down a better workflow for creating storytelling videos, because I still feel like I have not figured out a workflow for creating videos that actually tell a story that's practical in any way. And so this one, they sent me the beta invite here just this morning, and so I was trying to understand what it does. And I was interested in it because it says a new era of storytelling, transform the future of storytelling using breakthrough technologies. Let's see what it seemed very much about different kinds of animation, putting together an actually animated story through making your in betweens. It had something about what seemed like an easy way to create a character, or because character consistency is such a big thing. But as far as I was looking at it, okay, you can actually create a model if you're uploading a character sheet. It actually has character sheet uploads. Like, here's the character sheet of my character, and now I want to generate that character in different poses, and then I want to do an animation between them. It seemed really interesting. I was like, okay, I really want to look at this, but also I had to do the editing. So I don't know if anybody has this one or is involved with it. I just got it. I'm going to experiment with it. We will see. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning. Well, at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on 50 Years of Dungeon, Ed Greenwood is interviewed. I was there for the taping. He tells great stories as always. Oh, okay. Good morning, Mike. I would be interested in hearing that. Okay, well, let's go over and take a look at, let's continue our project over here. I think PH had a question. Well, I guess Eastern Daylight Time. Yes. Okay. Okay, so PH said, how many different dice colors are there in the game by now for skills, for abilities? So, okay, we came up with I think we came up with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That ends up with 14. And gifted, this may become very good. And I remember if we're talking about the Roy G. Biv. Who was that was? Oh yeah, Michael was talking about dice colors inside. So I think we're going to end up with this 14 right here. At least I think that's where I think we've done enough to come up with this particular scheme. I'll let the AI compute new colors for all of those. And this also did compute our our ranges for all of them, and that may still be in the other window. But that also computes the other ranges. Although the one thing that I am worried about, or still want to think about at this time, is that we had each one of these going up by 2, and I kind of wonder what happens if we have each one of them go up by 3, because we want them to be different enough that every one of them seems significant. If you go up in this, everything seems significant, but that also we want there to be overlap between the ranges so that people of ranges that are next door aren't just, one doesn't just completely overpower the other. So we had them going up by 2, but we had overlaps of 2/3. And actually, I wonder, let me see if I can just go over here and ask it. Let's say, hey, what if I wanted to change the numbers on the ramps, the numbers on the abilities, or the ranges of the numbers? For each ability, so that each one of each step up, each new step is 3 greater than the one below it, but still preserves about a 2/3 overlap in the ranges. Can that be done? Let's find out. 14 different color customized dice. Yes. If I switch deficient for awful, you get an extra vowel. Maybe you spell something. Let's see. I hadn't even thought about trying to spell something, but Michael said that I agreed that these terms could change if you for a setting specific kind of thing. Like supers or things like that. Yeah, so it did kind of expand, but I don't think that's a problem. I don't think we need to go any further than this. But we said these top 3 right here are, godlike, God, and Titanics. I mean, those are really, up there. And then we have mythic and legendary. That's kind of quasi godlike. And so if you go down here to incredible, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 right there, from feeble to incredible. But when you're talking about heroes, I'm thinking that a hero isn't really going to have less than poor. I mean, they might in certain circumstances, but most of our heroes are going to be at minimum poor in something, average good, up to incredible. So probably that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives you 7 ranks in what I would consider like the playable kind of standard range. That still allows the players to encounter things that are worse than them, or to have some type of affliction put on them where, okay, you're hit by a enfeebling ray or something. And then it also allows, but even if you start up here at average or good, that still gives you 1, 2, let's see, if you're starting at average, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or good 5, someplace to go with your character. So at the moment, I'm feeling good about that. And who knows, maybe, in certain particular genres, you are able to do something that's legendary or mythic in stature. Let's see what the AI tells us. Oh, message in the stream, retry. Or error in the stream. Okay, so it's rethinking. We do need to deal. If we recalculate this, it's still recalculating. Could you not half this if you used a second die to add or take from the roll? You are poor and you roll an average die with another that takes from it. You are good, so you roll an average die and another that adds to it. Well, I was trying not to have anything that you roll and take something away. So I was trying not to do subtraction or take things away. You could also, you can do this with just one die, but then you are doing addition and so forth. And I just wanted you to be able to come in and say, and look at the die and see what you rolled, especially in a digital environment. So in this case, okay, so this is telling me now that certainly we can adjust the dice ranges so that each new ability level's typical value is 3 greater than the one below it, while maintaining about a 2/3 overlap in the ranges. Here's how we'll do it. Adjust typical values, increase the typical value for 3 for each subsequent level. Define floor and ceiling. Set the floor as the typical value -3 and the ceiling is typical value +5. This maintains a range of 9 numbers for each die, ceiling minus floor +1. Ensure overlap. With this setup, each die ranges will overlap the level beneath it by 6 out of 9 numbers, which is approximately 2/3. 6 out of 9 numbers? Isn't that exactly 2/3? So I guess that still works. So this tells me that, here, I'll copy this over so that you can see it. Oh, Michael's got an idea about how to roll 2 dice that I might like. Okay. I mean, like, you can do it with 1 die. You can do this with 1 die, which is originally what I was doing. It's 1 die that's sitting there, and then you have a large modifier. You can do it that way. So if we really want to make sure that there's well, anyway, if you really want to be sure, then do it with fewer dice, then you can. So impaired, this says typical value 4, deficient, typical value 7. That does move poor to 10. That might be something that we have to just work with. Average goes to 13, good 16, gifted 19, extraordinary 20, 22, rather truly exceptional 25, incredible 28, legendary 31, godlike 34, god 37, typical value on transcendent. Or this may have been Titanic. We might have changed this over to 40, but whatever. The names don't exactly matter. So that's interesting. 4 to 40. So a level 1 impaired person would have a floor of 1 and a ceiling of 9, whereas a deficient person would have a floor of 4 and a ceiling of 12. Okay. I think the thing left to do is to kind of play with both of those and see. Maybe run some simulations. I haven't had time to set up simulations. Scared about the number. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, I think you could be collapsed, Arbex, but at least a couple. It's interesting to see the extremes at this stage. Better with Bacon agrees. Too many unique dice will slow things down and likely cause confusion. Can I ask it to spread it over 10 dice? Yeah, I can do that. Let's see what it wants. You just want to go over 10 values? Well, you want it to spread. What do you want it to spread over 10 values? So over 10 values, like this would be, if we're going up by 3, you would just have impaired. What we have here is impaired to legendary, which is closer. I mean, that's kind of what we started with. 10 different ones. And then here, these would be but we were kind of separating these out as our metallic because there are God level stuff. But that would be 10 right there. Oh, no, impaired. Impaired 4 to 10 legendary. So there is a spread over 10. You think maybe that's enough? Maybe that's enough. So, no, Well, Titanic is the last 10. Okay. Well, all right. Well, I mean, I think the thing to do is to run with either of this two. I'm kind of liking the 3 skip. That puts Titanic at 40. Well, that's the typical range, not the high range, but that's the typical range. Yeah, 7 colors would be like the rainbow. Roy G. Biv. Yeah, if you had 7, it would be Roy G. Biv. Roy G. That puts G at average. Extraordinary, which is what Michael was talking about. Okay, so but look, okay, the final thing though would be let's look if we're going to do this if we're going to do the exploding die, then we want to be able to control this explosion. Now this is when you do have another die, so this is you're not re-rolling this. There should be a die that is just for your explosion. Okay, so let's talk to ChatGPT. Let's work with the explosion die based on the 3-step number ranges. We want the dice, we want to roll a separate die when the explosion symbol is rolled. So we need to figure out what's the distribution here. What is this die like, and what is its distribution? I don't think we ever want to be able to go 2 levels higher than where we are. So you can still have a way to kind of control what somebody's going to do. So a impaired person could naturally roll up to a 9. If they explode, it seems like they could be able to do up to good. So can I explain this to it? We want to roll a separate D6 when the explosion symbol is rolled. We never want a character to be able, I mean, maybe it's 3 better, or I don't know. We're talking this through here. To be able to do, let's start with 2 levels better than their base than the maximum. Well, maybe it should, because so if you're rolling to explode, you're already rolling the maximum number. So if you are impaired, this said, okay, your values go from 1 to 9. So you have already rolled a 9. How much more can you possibly roll? Let's see here. It might be a good idea to think about the ranges that will be included in Faded Edge itself and then consider other cases in time. Well, I mean, I think that's what we're doing. I think. I don't really care what the actual value is. So working with two steps or 3, a step of 2 or a step of 3, both seem to work. Right. The skill levels will impact this as well. Yes. We have our stab at that. We used to have familiar, which was kind of like a half step, but we may end up getting rid of familiar. So I think that it should be trained, expert, mastery, and grand mastery. So most of the time, you're just talking about being trained in a skill. That was when we were adding numbers together. We were this would be dice bonus. So we may miss out familiar. But if you're trained, then this would be +1 die, which would give you, which is effectively a bonus of +3 because you're going a step by step up. Once you become an expert, then you're going +2 dice, which would be a bonus of +6 because you're going up 2 steps. Mastery would be +3 dice, which would be +9. And then Grand Mastery +4 dice. But I'm expecting all that's very hard to get. For the most part, I'm expecting your players to, if you've got a skill, you're trained in it. And then it's probably a big deal when you become an expert. If you hit the explosion, you get to roll a second die up in color. Well, that's what I thought at the that was one thing that I was thinking that we talked about last time, that what if you are a godlike grandmaster at something? Well, you're going to dominate. And the system needs to be able to account for that. But not all gods have to have godlike level stats anyway. Like Hephaestus, as the lame smith, does not have godlike, or probably does not have godlike agility or dexterity, but he's a grandmaster he's probably higher than mortals. Plus, he's a grandmaster when it comes to smithing, so he's going to be able to make whatever he wants to make. I'm sorry. Yeah. Or if I was thinking of more typical heroes, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a legendary hero. Is your die size dictated by points? How do you determine the level? Well, we haven't gotten to that yet. We haven't gotten to how do you generate this. We hadn't done that yet. I really would like a card-based character generation, so that you are like drafting cards, and then the cards are going to tell you that. Right. No. So beyond how many dice colors, we might even roll 5 of each. No. That's not what I was thinking. So you'd have to 5 times the number of colors to be able to roll. No. That this is going up. Up 1 die. Maybe this should be up 1 die. Because we did talk about are you rolling more dice, or are you going up in your ability? Oh, and there was something that we're like, whether you're going to be disadvantaged or something. I said, man, or advantaged, does that have to be symmetrical? And actually, come to think of it, I don't think it does. So if you are average, but then you're trained in a spear, I don't know if spear is a skill, but if it is, then you would be rolling the good die when using your spear. But we said that, so we're going to recap. We could put these calculations on the character sheet, which I think is a good idea. But I like the idea that skills can be used with whatever ability is most appropriate at the time. But then again, we don't have that many abilities. So they could just be calculated, because it would be better if they were pre-calculated. But like, you could be able to use spear with any of your 4 abilities if it's appropriate. So if spear is on your character sheet, why not just have when spear is used with this ability, this ability, this ability, and this ability? And it's just right there on the character sheet. The system's a step-up system, not an increase in. Right now, that is the thinking, so that you're actually better. So that means most of the time you are rolling 1 die, and if you hit the explosion, you hit the new one. So the new game by dimension 20, you bump up in die size for damage the next time you hit the same kind of die. So, okay, you bump up in... Okay, let me go back over here to what the AI is trying to tell us. So let's work with the explosion die based on the 3 step up number range. We want to roll a separate die when the explosion symbol is rolled. We never want a character to be able to do 2 levels better than the maximum possible at his given skill level. So as an example, so a impaired character has rolled a 9. Has rolled an exploding 9. So we don't want him to go higher than a 15. So we don't want him to roll higher than a 15. Because that's the max out at poor. What kind of die, as in number of faces, and distribution would you recommend? It seems to me like the higher numbers should be rarer. Because you could make that completely random, however many faces that is, make it and then say, hey, it's just random. So you exploded. I mean, how good did you do? But it seems like you should still kind of do closer to your floor, or what was actually your ceiling at that point. Should be rarer. Let's just see what it says. What if you already have a high ability score? Leveling up skills related to it will benefit you more by the bonus, since you have less room to step up dice. Well, okay, so yeah, the overflow stuff. What do you do? What do you do when you have to step up God level by 2 steps? There is actually a way that you can do that. I think you can do that. I mean, that seems so rare too that it needs to be accounted for. But if you get to, yes, not only I have got godlike ability, but then I'm also a grandmaster. I think there's a way to go to take care of that overflow. But at that point, you're basically being able to accomplish anything you want. Oh, this gave me some math here. Okay, let's see what it says. Well, I can't copy this. Oh, I can't. Here I can. Okay, so let's go to abilities. So this says for level L, the maximum value without explosion is the ceiling at that level. Okay, correct. Yep, okay. The maximum total value with explosion should not exceed the ceiling at level L plus 2. Maximum total L equals ceiling L plus 2. Okay, exploding dice range. The exploding dice range should have a result that when added to ceiling L do not exceed max total L. Therefore, the maximum explosion die result is max explosion L equals max total L minus ceiling L. I wish Len were here for this. I'm not sure if all that's right, but at the moment, we'll take its word for it. It says, given the above, maximum explosion die result is 6 for all levels. Is that going to be dramatic enough? Ceiling, 9. Okay. All right. All right. Sounds reasonable. So designing an exploding die. We need an explosion die that has a possible results from 1 to 6. Higher numbers are rarer. Yes. Proposed distribution. Interesting. It gave me this as a percentage. So it says exploding die result. It says the 1 should be 30% of the time, a 2 should be 25, a 3 should be 20%, a 4 should be 15%, a 5 should be 7, and a 6 should be 3. Are we headed back to another D20? This distribution ensures that lower numbers are more likely and higher numbers are progressively rarer. Result 6 has only a 3% chance, making it significant but rare outcome. So, okay, this says, okay, so use a percentile die, but I don't really want to use a percentile die. Okay, creating a custom die. No, yep, we went to a D20. If you're willing to create a custom die, you can design a D20 explosion die with the desired probabilities. Faces 1 to 6 would have a 1, so that would be 30. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I think we're adjusting this to, so yep, to 1 to 6 would be 30. No, well, 1 to 6 would be 1. 7 to 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5, yep, 25. Faces 12 to 15 would be 3. Faces 3 to 18 would be 4. Face 19 and face 20. Can't we do that? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 70. How do you feel about that? So it's not a robust system for an ongoing campaign. It's a fun and zany one-night shot. I don't know DeepSeek. It seemed to come up. I mean, it seemed to do that pretty well. So, but let's. I don't mind that it's a D20. I guess it's just kind of I was intentionally doing all this, and it was like, hey, everything rolls a D20. So these are all weighted D20s. But it's interesting they all did come up with the D20. So that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are our possible results. But can't you do it so that there's... So this has 1 number on it. This has 2. This has 3. This has 4. This has 5. 5. This has 6. 11. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, yeah, it's the same problem. So I guess it would be like that. So just do that again. Oh, about the never stop blowing up. And I feel like we need some kind of constraint. I feel like we need some kind of constraint on blowing up. This would be number appearing. Yeah, it's going to have to stand out from the other dice for sure. Something that's completely unlike the others. Is that dramatic enough? Should you be able to reach up 3 levels higher? Why not roll again on the die that blew up and add the result? Because that's you're going to be going up in a major way if you do that fast, even if you roll the minimum. So, for instance, like if you are, let's say you were good, that meant that would mean that the lowest you can roll on a good die is a 13. But you have already rolled a 21 because you're about to explode. And then if the minimum you can roll is another 13, that you rolled a 33. So that would actually mean that if you are good and you roll an explosion, you would all of a sudden be up at the legendary level, which is right below godlike. And if you rolled that die twice and got 2 21s, then you are at the transcendent over god level. And that seems like too much for too much for somebody who's just good at what they're doing. Because an explosion is going to happen 5% of the time. So 5% of the time, that would be too much to throw you into godlike levels of getting something done, I think. Let's tell it. So this is the possibility. So explosion of 2 possible levels. Although the max is, on 5% there on a D20. Let's tell it. Let's use the custom D20, the custom die or the custom die. But let's think about this. If we were to allow the explosion to potentially go up 3 levels, what would the die roll look like then? My plan is yes. Does beating the DC number by X amount matter in the system, or failing it by a certain amount? If the DC is 15 and you get a 25, will that confer some benefit? I'm going yes. That's why, yeah, I'm trying not to have that happen. Let's see what it says on, but I still want it to be somewhat, dramatic. Total face is 20. Adjusted face, man, it's a lot. Final face adjustment. It's being extremely verbose. Does say game balance considerations? Excitement factor. Allowing explosions to reach 3 levels higher adds excitement and the potential for heroic feats. Probability control. The rarity of higher explosion results prevent frequent overpowered outcomes. Cap on total results by capping the maximum at ceiling _ L plus 3. You prevent characters from achieving results beyond 3 levels higher. God, this generated a whole bunch of stuff. So it recommended this at the end. Final face assignments. This is kind of crazy. This is like AI. This is also that in my lifetime, we actually have a AI assist in board game design, tabletop role-playing design. So this says, okay, this would be a D20 again. But this time we're allowing somebody to explode up to 9. Sounded like something was under my desk. Okay. It says you could go 1 to 4 would be a 1. 5 to 8, that's another 4, right? Yeah, it would be 2. 9, 10, 11, that's 3. 2, 2, 2. So this is 4 results, 4 results, 3 results, 2 results, 2 results, 2 results, 1, 1, 1. So that's just coming. That's still got the decrease in probability there, in kind of a stepped deal. I don't know which one's better. I guess we're just going to have to try it. It says if so. It says you could. Oh yeah, I know you could do that with 2d10s. I know. Okay. What did I want? The highest and lowest? You're talking about total highest and lowest results? I mean, I think lowest 1 or 0 total, but I don't really care how high we go. But I don't want it to go like, I guess we're going to about 60 by the time you add skill in, at the extreme, at the absolute extreme. I wonder which one's more fun. It seems like when we talk about the fun and people talk about rolling dice, then I guess the potential ability to get 3 levels higher is better than 2 levels higher. Oh, the die exploded. I can get up to 6, but that's still up to 2 levels higher than what you were. I think it's coming time to simulate some things and see what happens. We haven't specifically talked about battle yet, as we probably want to do that, because I'm thinking about yeah. So does beating the DC by a number X matter to the system? I think it does. My idea is that it does, because we talked about how do you handle partial success. And one way is to try to narratively adjudicate what partial success is. I think there is something under my desk. I'm going to have to go here in just a moment anyway, because I've got to get out of here. But one way to handle partial success is to do that narratively. But we don't do that narratively like when you're trying to kill the orc. We adjudicate, I only partially killed the orc by taking away part of his hit points. And so another thing you do is you can just apply hit points to other things that require partial success. And that's very index card RPG like. So that there's influence of index card RPG here as well, because I'm expecting that, yeah. So it could be like lock picking. I'm thinking that you got lock picking. Okay. So the lock pick, how long does it take you to pick the lock? You got to, you got 30 hit points worth of lock pick over there. I don't know, something. And so your ability to roll better. So if you are godlike in your ability to roll, and you got to get at least whatever to get this open in one try, and that's your floor, you go over there and you pick that lock. What after reaching a level beyond the last color, you roll a special die, no matter how many steps you did? Yeah, and also I think something like that is what you would do. To handle those really oddball cases. Yeah, Michael says I really like that about the index card RPG. So I think we import something like that. What if after recruit? Oh, we just said that. Maybe it's time to think about combat, as that's will be a most focus of this game. So yeah, so because it's yes, it could be. Do I have a link for the index card RPG? Oh, do I have a link for what? But well, where was I going with that? Oh, right. But I want the unified action resolution system, so that I don't. It's been moved over to Runehammer's site. I like the assigning hit points to more things because it's removing your cognitive load. Oh no, it's on Drive-Thru RPG. I would say that's one of the major. So GURPS, Fate, and Index Card RPG. Those are 3 major inspirations here. Giving things hit points is easy. Adjudicating partial success and what it narratively means to get partial success, moving the purple Triceratops to the whatever is more difficult. Okay. But I want a unified action resolution mechanic. So whether you are attacking something or whether you're trying to accomplish something else, the steps that you do need to be the same. I want those things to be the same. So I'm jumping the pit. Now might have a few other things, but also I want the system to also be able to do the adventure game, like we looked at quite a bit. And when you're in an adventure game environment, then killing monsters is a lot of what you're going to do. But this is trying to work on unified action resolution mechanic. Take your, and it's probably about time to start rewriting this, which is where we were. We had a 1-page written thing, but that was completely wrong because it was from a long time ago. Unified action resolution mechanic. Pick up the color die equal to your rating in that ability that governs the check. If you're skilled, if you have an applicable skill, then step up 1 higher. If you're trained, step up 1 higher die. Roll that die. Compare to DC. If you rolled a die explosion, then you roll the explosion die and add it to it. There might be one other thing that you could possibly do, but that's basically it. And everything else is built into the dice. And yes, how well you roll should matter. Not just beating it, but how well you roll should matter. But exactly what I do kind of like the steps of 3 here. Gives some additional range. If you are average and now your character levels up, I don't think it's actually be levels, but if you level up in something and now you're going to feel the difference between a typical value of 13 and 14. I think just at the gaming table, more than 13 and 15. It might not mathematically matter, but if this gives us more range to play with, that could be good. And then we'll also see, does it feel right to explode to 2 or 3? Okay. Well, yes, Ben Milton's most recent video notes that the original form of D&D was known as an adventure game. Well, we'll talk about that when later one night. There's a lot of topics to cover with James Bacon, actually. But what is role playing and Titterpig's talking about this because you were in on the what is role playing discussion. So there we go. Yeah. So I was thinking maybe one variable changing 2 things. I think maybe one variable changing 2 things may be too complex. Skill level gives you a bonus step ups. What if explosions would let you re-roll a step higher die? Well, because you can't do that. Oh, I exploded. Roll 1 higher die. You can't do that because your floor. So here is poor. Okay, poor is like, I think this is using a step of 2, but I think the principle is the same. Poor here, when we were looking at this, is 5 to 13. So if you roll a 13 star for explosion, you can't just roll an average die because its floor is 7. So I don't want you to go backwards accidentally because your floor will be less than the ceiling of what the rank below it was. So I don't want to accidentally send you back down. I want to make sure you claim that 13. Now, I guess you could roll you could roll the next higher die and ignore it if it doesn't exceed your 13 or something like that. So you could do something like that. I was trying to make sure that you had your high number in the bag, and we're going to go higher. That kind of conforms to the game design principle of allowing you to add things to it. You get to add something going forward, but you're not taking something away from the person. Yeah, see, with our 3-step right here, if you are average, floor of 10, max of 18, exploding, yeah, so good is minimum of 13, max of 21. So the only way that would work is if you said, okay, you get to roll the next higher die, and if it that does collapse it. Roll the next higher die, and if you can exceed your number, then use that one. And if you don't, use your. But I kind of wanted you to have something for exploding. Now, if you did that, come to think of it, I'm gonna have to run here in just a second. But if you did that, come to think of it, we have the highest value and the highest value exploding. If you just said, if you can only explode one level, a maximum of one level, you don't need 2 highest values on each level die, because we've got the 15 and the 15 explosion. Because if you just roll the 15, you're at 15. If you roll the 15 explosion, then you're going to be higher than 15 if you roll the exploding die. But if you just said, if you roll the highest value, the 15, step up to the next higher die and roll it. If it exceeds 15, use that number. I'm going to make note of that. So I think these are just going to have to be tested. But alternatively, did any of that make sense that I just said? Alternatively, roll the next highest die. If you wanted to be constrained, which might end up being a good idea, to only one higher level on an explosion. Roll the die, roll the next higher die, highest die, higher die. If it exceeds the original roll, take that roll. If not, take your original roll. This has an advantage that you no longer need a separate explosion marker on the die. Explosion face on the die. I think that needs to be thought about. I think it's time to start instantiating this in our tabletop to roll and just see what we like, and then also probably do some simulations. But we might also want to think about what's involved in combat. PH says, I like that skills give you bonuses and explosions let you roll higher. You're talking about a flat bonus? I'm not exactly sure what things, but skills give you like a flat bonus to a roll. That might be what we're talking about. So you're going to roll the good die. Your in it, so you get a flat numerical bonus to the roll, and then if you explode, you get to roll higher? Feels like an elegant solution to the idea that you can only explode once, maybe. You can only explode once. There'll be no explosion marker on the explosion die. I didn't have an explosion marker on the explosion die. So when we were talking about can you explode to 2 levels, but with decreasing probability, explode to 2 levels or to 3 levels, you only get 1 exploding die or 1 exploding roll or whatever. Well, that's well, actually, come to think of it, this is why I like talking this out. Another thing here, can your explosion die explode? Because in this case, you would, when you step up to the next die, if you roll the highest face on that, can you go again? If so, is this infinite? Or could that get capped? Oh, gee, you think you're almost done with something or something, and then you come up with all these other things to think about. Add the results, only 5% chance anyway. It would be a cinematic epic action. Like you're already giving bonuses to the rolls according to skill levels. Yes. Yes. If you allow explosion freely, probability will limit it. Don't have an explosion die, just let it roll. All right, so pH is for not having a separate explosion die. That is more, I mean, that is elegant. We have the issue of rolling to confirm. So Mike says, I like the idea of explosion roll resulting in rolling the next higher die and using that number if higher. It kind of has the feel of the confirming a crit feel to it. Like from 3rd edition. Oh, I rolled the 20. Roll to confirm quit. Roll to confirm crit. Okay, and sometimes the crit's not confirmed. So you get a chance of going higher, but it's not guaranteed. With the explosion die, as I was originally, you were guaranteeing that person was going to increase that roll. I think that was what I was thinking, and maybe it doesn't matter which one's better, but I think that was part of what I was thinking. That if you roll an explosion, the explosion symbol, you're going higher than that. It might only be 1 higher than that, but you knew you were going to get some kind of bonus added to that. This way, you don't have to have the other die. But you will only see that we know the numbers overlap by 2/3. Oh, well, but they're different percentages. So we'd have to look at what percentage of the time do you actually get to go up? Do you actually add something to it? Over here, so if you roll a 21, and we're going up to 21. That's only that would only be, according to this distribution, 5, 10, 15, 20. That would only be a 25% chance that you would get to increase your roll. Because if you're good, according to this probability right here, you roll 21 exploding, there's a 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There's a 55% chance. I looked at the wrong number. There's a 55% chance that you do not exceed 21. Maybe you need to jump 2. You see my issue? Mike says, I like the idea of not having a separate explosion die. Finding a solution within the system seems preferable. You could use the step higher die result if the higher or add the results from a previous die in the new one. I thought the same, but the worry was that this would lead to ridiculously higher results. Yeah. It seems like if you roll the explosion, it needs to increase your roll more than 50% of the time. All right, I've got to run. I've got some things to do today. I've got to get out of the house since tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So, but tonight, come back for more game design on the Cultist side of things on the Cultist channel after Brianna's season 2 director's commentary. So we'll be doing that tonight at 7 o'clock. Thank you all for being here, Mike. I will see everybody tonight. Later, everybody.